are listening to the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. We are in week 19 of Anna Gale Line's latest novel, The Lightyears, involving a Mobile Alliance surgical hospital battling an epidemic at the front lines of the Freedom Alliance Crimson Fleet War. This is episode 19 Redo. If you have not subscribed, do so now, and if you are on YouTube, hit the bell to be notified of new episodes.
You don't know anything. I don't know. I have been remembering a lot of things about my time in your hotel. I remember the staff being mean, the food, when there was food, being slop, and that I was injected regularly during my stay. Every time I would get close to the cure, I would be injected. Now does that sound like people who want to find a cure? It sounds more like your people are trying to stop anyone from finding one. Why would that be? You are talking crazy. Why would we do that? We were trying to find a cure to the epidemic that was wiping out our inhabitants. That's why you abducted all the smart people you could find, particularly from the think tank? Wasn't Bernadetta a part of the think tank? Weren't my parents part of the think tank? What is this think tank thing you are speaking of? Project Delta Echo Sierra Tango. How do you know anything about Project Delta Echo Sierra Tango? I shrugged. Alfan became more insistent. How do you know about that project? Who betrayed us in leaking that information to you? I racked my brain and could not remember how I came across the information. Maybe if you did not erase my memory, I would remember. Although at the rate that my memory is improving, I don't think it will be long before I remember everything. The cure. The plot to kill all humans who tried to inhabit your planet. The ploy to try to get us to off ourselves by spreading the disease from one person to the other. You all expected the humans to die and not to visit Kilo 8. Yet more came to figure out what happened to our people. The ones you held captive. I feel like you were playing mind games with us in captivity, the promise of release, the return date, and, you know too much, Alfan countered, then shouted, "Computer, activate Sequence Hotel India Umbrella Foxtrot." Then he disappeared. Suddenly the alarms sounded. Lights flashed around the room. Chip's voice announced, "A gaseous substance that appears to have originated from Kilo 8 is filling up the USS Lightyears. Is there any way to stop it?" I questioned, tilting my head to see the ceiling. "Cannot comply. To stop the gaseous substance, all systems would need to be shut down, flushing the substance out before restarting all systems. Lives would be lost due to life support system being deactivated. How long will it take for the gas to kill all members of the crew? The gaseous substance is seeping into the systems at a slow pace. It would take approximately 72 hours to flood the entirety of the USS Lightyears star vessel." I turned to the group. "Okay. We have the option of evacuating everyone, shutting down the systems, clearing the Lightyears of the gas and bringing everyone back on board, but I am thinking our best option would be to somehow create enough suits that have a personal life support system in them. So that the people can stay on board while we shut down all the systems," Jake remarked, nodding his head. "That is a great idea, but it would have to be so insulated that the gas could not seep through the material. Yankee 5 is close enough to our location. Let's start evacuating everyone in spacecrafts to Yankee 5, I charged, moving my fingers over my Quan pad, until we can clear the gas out of the Lightyears. We will gather as many environmental suits as we can, so that a skeleton crew can stay here." Jake questioned, "Is Graham on board? Shouldn't he be involved with this discussion?" I alerted him to the situation. "He is on his way," I advised Jake, putting my hands over my eyes. "We need Dr. Weinhardt in here. I need to know if it is going to be more advisable for us to be on crutches or in a wheelchair. I am voting for crutches as I don't know how effective we are going to be in wheelchairs." I also alerted the senior staff because we are going to need to set up a makeshift hospital on one of the spacecrafts. I think all the doctors should be evacuated first, except me, because I need to stay here and handle things. "I am staying with you," Jake insisted, squeezing my hand. I shook my head as Graham moved through the doors. "No, I can't let you do that. I need my chief surgeon on Yankee 5 handling our makeshift hospital, and making sure the children are okay." I filled Graham in on what I determined so far. Graham agreed. "I think that is the best way to handle this for now. I am going to make it a standing order to have the other space vessels stay away from this area until we have this under control." Reasonable, I confirmed, then looked at everyone on the screen. Anything we missed, commanders? I don't think so, Jessa confessed, running her fingers through her hair. You seem to have everything under control. I have a question, Alex started, looking around, but it is not about this crisis you have going on here. Actually, it kind of is. Where is my husband? I heard from Dr. Weinhardt that he had to have spinal surgery because he was in an explosion. Is he okay? Are you going to evacuate him with the other doctors? I am evacuating the patients and the doctors. The only doctor on board will be me. I am keeping anyone on board who can help shut this down and clear the system. Alex nodded and asked, do you realize Jake's anxiety skyrockets when you talk about staying behind? I am the commander of this vessel. I will stay behind because it is my job. It is the right thing to do. I am tempted to move the Lightyears closer to Kilo 8, so the island committee feels the anxiety we are going through, trying to get this cleared. I put my hand to my head. What if that is what they want? What if they want it to destroy the planet, so they can destroy all of the information we gathered while there? I know it sounds far-fetched, but think about it. There is a way to find out, Graham advised me, holding my gaze. Transmit a message to them saying to evacuate their people due to the proximity of the Lightyears to their planet. It will indicate whether they are okay with us destroying their planet with the explosion. We will not let it get to that point if we can help it, but they don't need to know that. If they evacuate their people and let us destroy the planet, they are allowing us to destroy all the evidence of a cure, and whatever their plot is. If, however, they are more concerned about the planet, then we would be wrong. Okay, I agreed, then ordered my communications officer to send out the message to the planet. My communications officer is doing that right now. Graham folded his arms across his chest. Then we just wait. Within minutes, Major French advised me over my comm, Colonel, the planet is hailing us. They advised us that they will start evacuating immediately to Sierra 1. I exchanged an amused look with Graham. I think we need to have people on Kilo 8 to see what they are doing and to locate any evidence because knowing them, they have a contingency plan. Like what? Jessa questioned. I don't know, maybe like blowing up the planet themselves. Graham gave me a sidelong glance and decided, I agree. We will put people on Kilo 8 to find out what is going on. Jake, would you like to head that? Take Victor with you, and I will send you several more nearby agents. We all looked in Jake's direction. I guess, since she plans on going down with the Lightyears. I will arrange for you to go there and to put Patrick in charge of the evacuation. He likes telling people what to do. They laughed. I also think there should be agents on Sierra 1, I suggested, glancing over at my dyane monitor readings, to see what happens when they get there. From what I could see, my blood pressure and pulse, along with my blood work, looked fine. It did look like my white cell count was up, indicating the presence of an infection. It could just be from the surgery, but I doubted it. I would need an antibiotic in my device, along with the medications to maintain the disease. I should wear a small dyane monitor, so we can see how I am doing. I think I will have Jake wear one as well. Good idea. I will assign agents there as well. I want to make sure we are covering all our bases, I justified. You have always been quite thorough and calm under pressure. Tell me what you need, and we will see that you get it. If you run into any trouble, Graham insisted, locking his eyes with mine, evacuate. Your lives are more important than the Lightyears. We will get you a new vessel. Just make sure you and your crew are safe. It will until your hand has a chance to heal. It is going to take time to get used to it. I will bring it and the simulator to help you practice getting used to it in a couple of hours. She looked back to Graham and then at me again. I am staying on board until you and Doctors Morgan and Riley are recovered. I remember this. I remember living through this before. Why was I reliving this? I put up my hand and said with grave deliberation, Graham, I have lived this before. I remember having this conversation, being in this bed, having this injury. This has been playing out like it did before, so I need you to do something for me. Graham closed the gap between the doors and my bed. He came and sat on the edge of it. What are you talking about? I have lived this before. I know what they are going to do next, and I need you to prevent it. I want Jake brought in here because we have to discuss what is going on between us. I understand that. I will arrange it. He gave me a sidelong glance and observed, "You look pale and tired." "I have lived this before. We found out too late and were about to evacuate everyone. But if we can stop it, evacuate? Why? What is going to happen that you are going to have to evacuate?" "They are going to fill the entire vessel with gas. I need you to have my crew check for gas. I also want us to check Kilo 8 and Sierra 1. I have reason to believe they are going to start evacuating because they want to destroy the evidence on Kilo 8. You think they are expecting to kill all the prisoners, those they have captive, with the Lightyears explosion?" I nodded. "I do. I will contact the Clue Club because I know they have information." "How long before Zebby joins us as my partner and first mate?" Graham eyed me curiously. "How did you know that was the plan?" "I have told no one." I smirked. "Did you not hear me when I said I lived through this already?" "I figured they hopped you up on drugs." I slapped my good hand on the bed and insisted, "No, I lived through this day before. I need you to do what I asked you to do. It is a matter of life and death. I don't care if you don't believe me. I don't care that you are my superior. This is important, so important I am going out on a limb here." I stared at him. Okay, he relinquished, then made a few calls. "Jake is being relocated here. Your engineering crew is checking for gas, and the Clue Club meeting will convene at 0900 hours. Can you also let my kids know I am safe?" I questioned, watching him make another call. I pressed my back into the pillows and uttered, "Thank you." I felt my eyes grow tired. I closed them. What seemed like a few seconds later, I heard Graham say as he shook my shoulder, "You were right. They found the gas, and the island committee is evacuating and relocating onto Sierra 1. I have agents on Kilo 8 trying to figure out what they are hiding." I slowly opened my eyes and met his gaze. "You are acting like you didn't believe me when I told you," Graham countered. "You have to know it sounded a little preposterous when you said you lived this day before. You checked those things. Why? If you didn't believe me? To humor me? Basically, yes, and on the off chance that you might be right that the Lightyears was filling with gas. Are we evacuating? Or did we catch it in time?" "We caught it in time," he advised me. "We are isolating the area, so we can clear it out. We will keep you updated. In the meantime, the simulator and the bionic arm are to your left. Dr. Weinhardt thought you might want to practice with them." I nodded, pulled myself into an upright position, donning the bionic arm before moving the bed table that contained the simulator closer. On the screen came a scene of the inside of a person. It took me a few minutes to be able to manipulate the arm to do what I needed it to do. Just then the doors split open to reveal an orderly in mint-colored scrubs pushing Jake's bed into the room. They set it up near mine, allowing a small aisle between us. "I am going to leave. I know you two need to talk," Graham said before ducking out of the room. Jake sat up in his bed and asked, "What are you doing? Looks like you are playing some kind of video game. You have never been into them before. If it helps me be able to continue to perform surgery, I am all for it." "Continue to perform surgery? What would prevent you from performing surgery?" I glanced over at him. I am surprised Patrick didn't shout it from the rooftops because he came here with his "I am in charge now" attitude and told me how he tried to get us removed from duty because we are too injured and how my hand is so damaged that I will never perform surgery again. "Oh Donnie, I am so sorry. You must be devastated." "I know I would be if anyone gave me that diagnosis."
If you would like to learn more about Anna Gale or to purchase her fiction and nonfiction books, go to AnnaGaleLines.com. That is AnnaGaleLines.com. Right now you can buy 3 ebooks and get the 4th one free. There you can sign up for the newsletter to keep up to date on what is happening in the world of the Anna Gale Lines podcast, where she inspires people to take control of their lives, and her science fiction podcast, the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. To follow her on social media, it is Anna Gale Lines on Twitter, Lady Anna Gale on TikTok, Anna Gale Lines Artist on Instagram, at the Anna Gale Lines podcast on YouTube. You can join the Facebook page at Author Anna Gale. Thank you for listening and thank you for being you.